This is an adder that only subtracts. Yep, you heard that right. You can give this two numbers and it will add it together by subtracting them. Okay, I will get into how it works in a minute, but first I'm going to tell you how this idea came about. So when dealing with computers and computational redstone and that sort of thing, and binary, you don't actually subtract. Instead, if you want to subtract two numbers, you do the positive number add a negative number. If you want to do one number and take away another, you convert the number that you're taking away to be a negative number and then you add them. So you do a positive number, add a negative number. And so I was thinking about that. Since we can subtract by adding, can we add by subtracting? So to do the subtraction, we're going to use a comparator. This has two modes, compare and subtract. We only care about the subtract mode. So what it will do is it will take this one and it will subtract the side from it and then output that. So right now it's not taking away anything, and now it is. So this is off and it's outputting 0. We're going to use that to make an adder that only subtracts. What I ended up thinking is that we can make logic gates using comparators. So normally to build an adder, you would make it using an AND gate and an XOR gate. An AND gate is pretty self-explanatory. It just outputs. It's only true when both inputs are true. Or it only outputs 1 when both inputs are 1. An XOR gate only outputs 1 when one input is 1, but not the other. So then we combine these logic gates to make a circuit such as an adder. So here we can input these. These are our two numbers. It's going to be 1, 0, and add 1 or 0. So currently we're doing 0 add 0. Now we're doing 0 add 1, which is this one is 1. We're still doing 0 add 1, and then we can do 1 add 1, which is going to be 0, and then we're going to carry the 1. So that would be 1, 0 in binary, which is 2. And then to construct a full adder, which when you carry the 1, you need to add that to the next digit. So you would just attach two half adders together. And then you repeat that, and then you attach multiple full adders in a row to do larger and larger numbers. To build this, we need to have an AND gate and an XOR gate. But as you can see from these ones, these are torches which are doing the NOT operation, which is just inverting the signal. So you can see it's a 0 and it's turning it to a 1. But we can't use torches because that's doing stuff that's not just subtracting. So I want to make logic gates that use entirely subtraction to work. So this was my first attempt. This comparator is just constantly powered. It's always inputting, and then this is our input that we can turn. This was my first attempt at a NOT. And as you can see, it does work. But here we are ORing this input with this. But I don't know why I made this, because we don't actually need to do that, and it still works perfectly fine. So I don't know why that was even there. Yeah, I have no clue what I was thinking when I made this. This was my first attempt at a NOR gate. I should actually switch these for our inputs, because these are both our inputs. So you can see a NOR gate is an OR gate inverted. So a OR gate outputs 1 when one or both of the inputs are 1. And a NOR gate will do the opposite of that, so it will only output 1 when both inputs are off, as you can see right now. Okay, so then this was my original NOT gate, because if you take X for example and you put X, if this was X, you wire it both into that one and into that one, and since it's the same input, they will either both be 1 or both be 0, and so you can use that to not, so it will function as a NOT gate. This was my first attempt at an AND gate. As you can see, there are torches here. It's just because I didn't want to build this entire thing, so I was just gonna replace them when I actually came to building it. And as you can see, they are both on right now, and it's outputting 1. If I turn this one off, it doesn't output 1. If they're both off, it doesn't output 1. If only that is off, it doesn't output 1. So it's functioning as an AND gate. Then again, to make an AND, you just do that, and then I put them, and then you invert it, so you knot it, which again would be this circuit instead of this torch here. I couldn't be bothered building all that out. I ended up not using those designs since I ended up coming up with a much better design for a lot of the gates. So this was the original like NOT gate, and both the inputs are the same. Then I ended up coming up with this NOT gate. When this is on, it's outputting. That's off, and when this is off, it's on. For the AND gate, how you can construct an AND gate, and actually how this one here is constructed, is you knot both inputs, you OR them, and then you knot the output. So, as you can see, I have a NOT gate here, that this, and then they're being ORed together. Well, this bit here, okay, if we ignore this and just put them like that, this circuit is actually a NOR. So, which is the inverted, which is a NOT and then inverted. So since it's already inverted, we actually don't need to invert it to make. For the XOR though that's required, I ended up doing it a bit unusually. So this is the actual design of the half adder that only uses subtractors. So as you can see, we have this NOT which just subtracts, and then we have this NOR which subtracts, and it's outputting here. So this will detect this all together, though, makes an AND gate. And then over here we have the NOR gate, but what we want is an OR gate, so we're not in the output. Okay, but then what we're doing here, right? If I just put that on real quick, is we okay. How do I explain this? Basically, we're taking the output from this AND gate. So if we put them both on, so when they're both on, as you can see, this is being output here. But actually, we're doing this, take away this input in the side, so that blocks the signal from getting through to here, which is a bit of an odd way of doing it, because as you see, with this XOR gate, we just take the inputs directly and put them into the XOR gate, rather than taking the output from this AND and putting it into it. But that's the easiest way I found of implementing it. This is the sum of the half adder. So you can see when it's just 1, it outputs it, and this over here is the carry. So as you can see, if we have to carry it to the next digit, that will be on. So to achieve the full adder again, we just put the half adder in, we put the sum out into the next half adder with the carry in, we take the sum and we put that into the half adder with the carry in. And then if this one has and then the carry out of this one is just, I just realized this is an OR that is just a normal OR and doesn't subtract. Okay, I gotta go fix that in a sec. But yeah, if that one carries out, it's put here, and if the carry out was put there, and I gotta fix this real quick. Alright, I fixed it. Okay, now this ORs them together using subtractors, okay. And yeah, as you can see, we'll just if we input 1 on any of these three, it just outputs the sum of 1. If we input 2, you get the carry and no sum. And if you input all 3, you get output on the carry bit and the sum bit. Now there is one last thing to consider. It's a bit awkward to add and subtract in binary. Okay, so you want to be able to convert from base 10 or the normal number system we use to binary and back to base 10. And it's also not very practical to only be able to do one add one add one. But of course, since this is a full adder, you just output the carry out into the carry in of the next one, and you can just stack them indefinitely. It might take a while to do big numbers, but you can do it. Now, in terms of converting from base 10 to binary and back to base 10, denary is what you call it, but there's a good chance that I didn't pronounce it correct. It's just be the number system that you use in everyday life, really. And if you want to convert it, you can. I couldn't be bothered building a system. We have a NOR gate here. This is a bad design. But we also have an AND gate, and if you invert the AND gate, you will have an AND gate. And every other logic gate can be constructed solely of NAND gates, or you could construct it solely of NOR gates. So it is possible to build one. I just couldn't be bothered, as it would be a lot of work and a very untidy mess.